Hey y'all, I'm Elisa, the Scrappy Wife behind ScrappyWife.com, and I cannot wait to show you what I made with my Glowforge. All right, so I have logged into the Glowforge software. It's online, it's an online-based software, so you do have to have internet access to work your Glowforge. A lot of people use different things like Silhouette Design Studio, different options for designing. As of right now, I'm just working on the actual software, and I opened something from the catalog that Glowforge offers, and this one is called Perfect Polaroid Frame. And what I've done is kind of made this pretty large. The idea is that I want to make a large picture frame that can display some different options with my Happy Planner discs. I think it could be a super cool project. So I've just enlarged the photo frame. You can see I have some faux discs over here. We're going to play with those in a minute, but first I'm going to cut out the basics of the frame. This is cool because it was already designed for me. I just have to get it ready to print. I have to put in my materials and then we'll be ready to go. All right, to get started, I'm gonna actually cut this in two parts. This is light basswood plywood. I just picked it up from Amazon. It's in 12 by 12 sheets, which is why I have to cut it in two parts. With the Glowforge, you just set the material that you're gonna use and then it knows its settings based on a lot of different factors, and there's also a great Glowforge community where you can look up settings for different materials that might not be proof grade materials, which means they're already tested with the machine. So we're going to get started. All you have to do is send it to the Glowforge. You have the glowing button right here, and it'll be ready to go. All right, it's always super satisfying to watch the Glowforge work. This is sped up 4 times. What it's doing is using a laser to burn through the wood to cut it in a super accurate fashion. It is just so cool to watch, so fun to watch. It's pretty awesome. So we're going to do the first piece. I always save all my scraps because I can use them in lots of different ways. We'll take it out and then put in another piece of material, get it set up with the next cut, the next print, send it to the Glowforge, and then it will cut the next one. The next one has what's called a living hinge, which means it's cut in a way that allows the wood to be bendable. It is so cool. I think it's such a neat idea, and I've seen some really cool projects done. See how it has that pattern? That allows this part of the wood to be bendable, and that's going to be the back of the frame. So this has been a project I've been dreaming of since I got the Glowforge. I've always thought it would be so fun to decorate with your spare Happy Planner discs. We all have so many, but I don't want them to be in something permanent because what if I want to use them in one of my Happy Planners? So this is going to be my solution to that. Okay, so now that I've done my 2 basic cuts for the picture frame, I'm going to move this out of the way, off of the screen. We're going to just put it down here so it won't pay attention to this. And I'm actually going to copy and paste this image. I'm going to bring it over and position it on my board. And then I'm going to ungroup all of these pieces. And really what I'm wanting, I don't need this middle piece. So I'm wanting it to cut a full piece. This is actually just going to be for a guide. So we're going to start to move these circles over there. So let's grab these circles. The idea is that these circles are the size of a Happy Planner disc. And I want the circles to kind of be spaced evenly. All right, so I sped this next part up a ton, and then I started doing more voiceover because I did have some workers coming. We have construction going on in my craft studio, which is probably why the sound has been so weird on my videos the last couple of weeks. I've been trying to record in different places with different things, working around a lot of the work that's going on in the basement. So thank you to those of you that have let me know that sometimes it's hard to hear, sometimes the sound is off. I'm definitely working on it. What I'm doing now is basically trying to figure out how to trace a happy planner disc. So a cool thing that the Glowforge offers is the ability to trace something so that you could theoretically trace your mother's signature and then engrave that into a cutting board or maybe a family recipe or something like that. I wanted the happy planner disc, specifically the heart. What worked best for me was actually coloring the heart in with a black pen on a white piece of paper and then tracing that. Now I'm putting that cutout in the middle. The funny part is I end up not needing these little hearts. I thought they were going to be necessary in order to keep the discs in place. But in the end, the disc stuck in place without the heart. And so I decided not to put the heart in the final project because now there's some happy planner discs that have different cutouts in them. And maybe you want to play with those discs as well. The idea is that this will be interchangeable. You can change out the colors for the season or just based on what you're feeling that week, a different color scheme you want to go with. And so I thought in the end, to take the hearts out made sense because I wouldn't necessarily have all heart discs. And of course, there's also a lot of other discs. So this is made for the classic size discs from the Happy Planner. 1.3 inches is what those discs are. And I'm super pleased with how it comes out. So this took a lot of fiddling to get all of this in the right place. But once it was ready, I did send it over to the Glowforge. And let you watch the super satisfying cut. So I may not have needed all those little hearts, but because I have them, now I have all of these little wooden Happy Planner discs that I cannot wait to paint and use for a different project. So that's one of the cool parts about the Glowforge. Is a lot of times you can use the scraps in multiple projects, just like when you're working on paper projects. And I'm super excited to have these and use them. And once again, how satisfying is it to watch the Glowforge work? I'll work on getting some better angles and some different camera angles as I work through some of these Glowforge projects with you guys. It's just a fun machine to use. I realize that it's a little bit more than maybe a typical crafter would have in their craft room. But for me, it's something super exciting, and I can't wait to show you some more projects as I start to really kind of learn what this machine can do. So basically what I have are 3 different layers. I have the back, and then I have where the discs are going to go. They're going to pop into those holes right there. And then I have the front. What I'm going to have to do is actually cover this back. I'm going to just use white cardstock so that there's something for the backing up where the Happy Planner discs are going to be, so it has a cool white background. I'm just using simple glue to put all of this together, crafter's glue, gluing down the white cardstock. And then the next thing I'm going to do after I trim off that cardstock is figure out how this hinge works. So you have this little flap, the hinge bends up, you put this in, it just sits up just like a picture frame. I think it's such a genius design because it's all one piece. Here's the Polaroid front, and it's all going to come together just like that. It's time to get painting. I ended up just using white acrylic paint to cover where all of the discs are going to be. I thought a white background would be awesome because you can just change it out. Again, with the season, you can change out all the different colors of the discs, or just with your preferences for that week. I thought white was a really good neutral palette. You could also do some pretty cool kind of gradient colors. I think there's a lot of opportunity to kind of change it up. And as I'm working on some decor for my craft room and perhaps the rest of my house, I think it'll be fun to experiment with how those different colors might go together. So that is going to be white in the background, and then the photo frame front will be black. There's also the opportunity to have painted these before I Glowforge them, and that might be something that I do in the future. But I wanted to bring you guys on with me as I was trying to figure out this project to show you what it looks like, to try to figure out how to work something on the Glowforge, how to turn something that you have like an idea in your head into something that will work when you cut it out. And I'm super excited with how this one turns out. There's definitely some things I would have changed. I probably would have painted in advance. I would have cut this piece out slightly differently and maybe made the holes for the planner discs just a little bit larger so the planner disc slipped in really nicely. As of right now, you really have to pop them in, and then I use a little tool to pop them back out. They still come on and off pretty easily, but I think there's a few things I would have altered. Now I'm putting together all of the different layers, so that's just kind of the in-between layer that makes room for where the discs are going to be. Next goes on the black front layer. Again, that'll be what you see for the frame, and then in goes the piece that will hold all of the different discs. And of course, it's a white piece sitting against the white background. And ta-da! That is how it's all going to work. The last little thing I'm going to do is create a decal with some vinyl that will go on the front. I'm going to go with Plan a Happy Life because that seems like the perfect phrase to put on this one. We'll just change up the font. And then I kind of searched. I actually don't have any permanent white vinyl, which is a little bit shocking. I'm going to have to look through my stash again. I just didn't see any out. I think I've moved it somewhere in the midst of the construction in the basement and just couldn't find it. But I did end up finding a really pretty glitter vinyl, like a soft kind of glitter color. It's actually smart vinyl, but I'm just going to use it on a mat to cut this out. And once it's all cut with the Cricut, then I will be able to adhere it to the front of the frame. All right, here I'm using transfer tape to move the vinyl decal over. I had to use strong transfer tape because it's a smart material and that just required the strong transfer tape. So therefore it actually pulled up some of the paint on the frame. So you'll see me do a few little touch-ups with that here in a moment. So just did a little touch-up on the black paint, and then I got to have fun playing with discs, and I think I'm gonna have fun working through some different arrangements. I could see doing red, white, and blue for the 4th of July, changing it out for Christmas. I just think it's gonna be a fun decoration in the craft room to play with. As someone that is a planner, that loves the happy planner, that loves some happy planner discs, it's going to be a cool kind of different way to display them. And I like that it'll be interactive, that you'll be able to change it up. So I'm going to fill in a few discs here, and then that's going to be it. Let me know what you think of this project. Let me know what you think of me sharing some Glowforge projects over here. I know it's not a tool everyone has, but I thought it'd be fun to kind of share with you guys some of the things I'm working on in my craft room. So if you're interested in seeing some more Glowforge projects, be sure to let me know in the comments below. I will link the things that I use down below. I do have a referral code for the Glowforge. If you're interested in kind of jumping in and investing in one, then I have a link that can save you a little money on your purchase. A huge shout out to all of my patrons. They have been following along on my Glowforge journey for a little while now, and the top 2 tiers actually receive things that I make on the Glowforge every month now, and so I think that's super exciting as well. If you want to find out more about Patreon, I have a link to that in the description box down below. All right, I hope that you have a fabulous day, and as always, keep it creative.